lightning. He uses a work truck. That means like that. All lightnings. Or those 96, I think is what they made them. I cut all the bushes down. Remember we cut all the bushes down right there?
Yeah.
Every one of them we cut down. And it already needs it again. They go back out there and do it again. I should call them. Forget when we made all the job. But I remember that was a bitch. A little trailer, I did that little trailer. We're going to debunk some stuff as soon as Trey gets out of the truck. This is like cool shit road. There's that Fox body.
Yes, I was talking about that.
I don't know, he loves it. He's in love with the Fox body. He's in love with the Fox body. He'll eventually get one. I'll eventually have one. One day. Again. I'll have another. If I don't have one of those, I'll get a Hellcat. That'd be my two options. But since the options on Hellcats. Love you. I'll let you know when we're on the way. Hey! Tell them their gutters need cleaned out bad. That one right there is starting to fall off the fucking house.
Yeah, I know. I told her about that.
Hey! Tell her we clean gutters. Tell her we clean gutters. We do that for money.
Yeah.
All right.
You can get one of these.
Yeah. That one's got peanut butter on it, I think. The back side of it. So wipe it off. It's on the back corner. You wipe it off my truck's feet. There's a tissue in your hand.
No, I just saw that tissue. Oh, that is a gross. Where's your clean one?
In my red truck.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She got my number. How much did they call me?
Love you.
Trying to give them a peanut butter. Call them. Then you try to wipe off my seat. Shame on you, Mom. But the great debate of I took an oath. We're going to debunk the I took an oath today. And it's very simple to debunk. It's the fallacy that since I took an oath, I can do no wrong. And I'm not saying I took an oath. I took an oath by birth. So I didn't take this magical government made up oath that leads people into believing that you have a good moral conscience or you're there to protect something of theirs like the rights or a long list of other things that it tricks the sheep into believing.
Is your weight out yet?
Who? Who was waving at me? Where? No. See a lot of waving at me. People wave around here.
Wave.
Yeah. Didn't see him. We gotta get that tower down right there. That's one of the towers we gotta get.
What is it?
That antenna tower right there. That's one was gonna come down. Anyway, back to debunking thing. I took an oath. So here's how you debunk it. Here's my best way of explaining it that I've, that's kind of, I might lose you for a second here in just a second, put it on you for a second. If Satan himself, explained to me what Christianity was and what Jesus was, could I then take an oath to the Bible of Jesus if Satan was the one who told me what Jesus was? No, I couldn't. Why? Because I'm sure Jesus would Satan would tell me a bunch of bullshit, and then I definitely couldn't take an oath to the Bible because I never read a word in it. And even let's just say I did read a word in it, I don't know it verbatim. In order to take an oath to something, you have to know it verbatim. That way, it's on your mind right now. If you are violating, if you're going against it, because I've asked cops before, well, how do you know if you're violating? Which the very existence is a violation of the Constitution. It's a violation of the Constitution, not to mention a blatant violation of our natural rights. Go ahead and show me where in our Constitution that we give government the authority to police society. We did it because if we had, we wouldn't have been a free society. that lasted for a few decades, being a free society, until the late 1830s. And you can verify it. Don't believe me. Verify it for yourself. Go research that yourself. Go find out when the first policing forces came to meet. And you'll find it was in the late 1830s. There was an argument for a while, whether it was in Boston, whether it was in New York. I think New York finally won out somehow. But do you think the founders just were like, we okayed this part of government, but we forgot to create it. And then it was created just by happenstance after they all died? No, it wasn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be a self-governing society, meaning that you police your own community. You have community-based common law courts. Government's not supposed to be involved in any of it. All government is supposed to face outwardly. But I took an oath shit, and as soon as somebody says that, I know they're a complete dipshit. Complete dipshit. I don't give a fuck if it's the military. Don't care if it's a cop. I don't care. And here's why. And because I always ask them, okay, and I'll spout out something. You know, whatever it is. What's, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 3? And they look at you like you're retarded. I'm like, well, how can you take an oath to something that you don't know? Well, if I think I violated it, I go check. I've had a cop tell me that. I'm like, do you realize how dumb that sounds? Because you're never going to think you did something wrong to go check. Why don't you just get to know it, and then you can take an oath to them? And all that is just a spiel to calm the normies. That's all that is. Well, they took an oath. No, they didn't. They don't give a shit about they don't care about the Constitution any more than they do your rights. You would think, being a human being, they would understand what rights are. They don't. No idea. And that's how government was able to get off what it's gotten off. I agree with Trey from RBM Trey Vietnam. Making it debatable is why we are where we're at. And when there's no debate to be had, we're not debating our rights. And it doesn't matter if you're a law-abiding citizen or you break more laws than anybody else in the country. You still have the same rights. Government did not give you rights. The government cannot take rights. And it's awfully funny, you catch a felony, you don't lose your right to practice your religion, do you? Let's just say I was Muslim. How many Muslims killed people in, 2001 versus other religions? Allegedly. It's just stupid. And there are some rights that are, at least, if not implied. I'm not going to say this the right way. If not, I don't want to say that because that's going to fuck up. That's going to sound bad. You don't lose any. You don't lose any other right. Well, you lose the right to vote. Voting is not a right. Number one. Number two. There's only 3 states in the country where if you catch a felony, a state, and you go to prison, state prison, that when you come out, you can't just go register to vote and start voting again. But the masses can't overown a gun again. And I explained 100 times, just like in the state of Ohio, how you can still own a firearm and be a felon. And there's a lot of states like that. And not a black powder gun. Any firearm that's made within the state or an 80%. There's some, or in a lot of cases, as long as the felony could have potentially carried less than a certain amount of time, you can still own firearm, any firearm. But if you ask the average normie, they think that because you're a felon, you cannot own firearms. So since it's been proven, and we can prove this, that you can own firearms as a felon without an expungement, without a sealed record, walking straight out of prison, you can walk right over to the FFL if you want, fill out a 4473, and you can buy firearms as a felon in a certain state. Now, in the sheep's mind, as an example, who thinks all felons are, satanic beings because they want to destroy our systems, when none of our systems are constitutional. They're either completely blatantly unconstitutional, or operate in an unconstitutional manner. Either way, they shouldn't exist today, and that's where it's at. And I don't disagree with the trade when he says they want to totally get rid of the Constitution. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's get down. Let's go ahead and get it over with. But they can't do it like that. It has to be incremental. It has to be so, cuts so small they're almost unnoticeable. That way, over a period of time, like I said, we think in weeks, months, if you're lucky, years. These people have the money that they think in generations, 4 generations from now, 150 years from now. That's the game they're playing. They play the long game. And all they have to do is just keep playing, wait it out. And they're going to win. They're going to win. Look around you. Look at these stupid ass kids being played as pawns, being used in state capitals like in Tennessee, where they just passed a bill for, which I don't agree with this. If you're a teacher, you should be carrying a gun every time you go to work. If you're a fireman, you should be carrying a gun every time you go to work. If you pick up trash, you should be carrying a gun every time you go to work. I don't agree with a lot of shit that, everything that we know is a lie. And that's the best way to put it. I know that sounds drastic and it sounds far-fetched, but it's not. Show me where in our Constitution we gave government the authority to tax us individually. Go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead and show me where Congress has any authority to create a law that can be enforced in Middle Tennessee or West Tennessee. I'll wait until I die. I've been asking all these same questions since 2017 at least. Yet nobody's come up with an answer. Nobody's pointed and said, look, right here's where we gave. They'll point to like Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 and 16. But they don't understand there's more tied into it than just that. You have to go into jurisdictions and militias and what the militia is and who's involved in that militia within that jurisdiction. And all these things were thought out about the founders. But where they fucked up was, and they fucked up, is they didn't add to the Constitution the directions for the contractors in it. There wasn't specific. How can something created by the people, government, then have complete rule over the people? That's what the redcoats were the British police. Fast-moving projectiles were sent through their faces to get away from that shit. Why would they just recreate the same thing? Why? You can have the argument that they were wanted treasonous felons and criminals. Men that you praise for founding this country were wanted. They were like comparative until today. They were on the FBI's international 10 most wanted. They held Bin Laden's spot at one time. But you can't tell the normies that. They freak out. And here's the real reason why they freak out. Is because they know in a real world, in a just world, they wouldn't survive. They feel the protection of the police. The police don't protect shit. Never. If by happenstance they might be in a place at a time where some person's getting kidnapped and they might stop it, it was just by happenstance. They don't stop crime. They show up when the crime's over, or they show up and they create a crime, then arrest you just to keep the system going because they have an interest in you being arrested. We're seeing it over and over again, all across the country, every department. But it's just the bad apples. Always the bad apples. But you let a couple bad apples, the whole bunch is spoiled. What was the 2 studies they did on? They did one in the 70s. They did another one in the 90s on New York City Police. Do you remember look up the name of them real quick.
What is it?
The studies that studied corruption within the New York City Police Department. 38,000 police. And in the 70s, it was just complete corruption. It was consented corruption, meaning the quote-unquote criminals were paying off the cops, and the cops were taking bribes and offering protection and all this other shit. In the 90s, it was not consensual. It was police beating people down, police robbing people, police arresting people. What was it called? But taking an oath, the state keeps pushing more and more to push everything in its favor, whether it be the NAT Commission, the Mullen Commission. Go read those reports. That's not just New York City. That we here, in Benton County, Tennessee, we've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Was corruption. Cops threatening to arrest people if they don't pay somebody else money that they didn't earn. Firsthand, that's happened. When the criminal's the one that wanted you to pay the money to, the one that actually committed a crime. And I didn't want the dude in trouble. I just wasn't going to pay what he was telling me I was paying him because we never agreed to it. And then he didn't finish the job. You know, it's a monopoly on force and violence. And they really don't have that monopoly. They only have that monopoly through constricted belief. And that's it. If everybody in this one county said, we're done, we're not playing the game no more, that's all it would take. But you can't get people to do that because too many people have bought into it for so long. It's become our system. And it's just total bullshit. But don't buy the I took an oath. I took an oath as a sign for I'll stomp on your rights, I'll stomp on you. I don't care that stomping on your rights is stomping on my own rights. Fuck you. You know, you heard that saying? You might beat the rat, but you're going to take the ride. And that's what it's about. States have made laws to where you cannot, against, if you fight, if you fight a kidnapper off as they're trying to kidnap you illegally against their own rules, that is a crime in some states. I don't care, personally. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, I'll probably say it another 10,000 times. I'm not going back to jail for nothing. I don't bother nobody, leave me the fuck alone. Or I hope your paycheck's worth it. And there probably are some cops that go into it that think they're going to do some good. Like I did some work for an old lady, and her granddaughter came in from wherever it was, Florida somewhere, I don't know. And she used to be a cop, and a little skinny old girl. I started laughing at her. I said, what would you do? You came upon some dude like me and told me to do something, and I told you to get fucked. The implied consent is the only reason why people listen to you. And as a female, it's really stupid because you see what happens to female cops over and over and over again. People tell them to get fucked, and then they call in 20 dude cops. When the truth is, the neighbor could have handled it. The neighbor could have walked up and knocked on, just like look at New York and North Carolina the other day. What did that dude do to deserve U.S. Marshals, parole, and all these people coming after him? Oh, he had a firearm. He didn't commit a crime with the firearm. Fleeing and eluding, so meaning the cops flipped their lights on, he said, fuck you, took off, and a firearm. So he took off, then got caught, and then had a firearm on him. He didn't shoot at the cops then, though. So he goes to prison for fleeing and eluding, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Who gives a fuck if he's a convicted felon? He still has the right to defend himself, not only from other people, not only from, just the average Joe bad human, from government. It was illegal for the men who founded this country to have the firearms that they had. The redcoats were coming to confiscate arms. And you know what they said? Fucking you, we're not having it. When Lexington Concord happened, there's some, that discrepancy in who fired the first shot doesn't really matter. The shot heard around the world, and the rest is history, and now here we are. But I mean, there's nothing that a cop does to you that you wouldn't rightfully, justifiably, fucking legally shoot me for doing to you? Nothing. Even by their own rules. But you give them a magic uniform, a pretty tin badge, and a gun, and the implied authority backed by the force of the state and federal government and all the normies. Did you see the cops being driven away from the hospital the other day, going to the morgue, and you have all these fucking people standing outside like, dun, 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 like it's some big deal? I swear to God, if I'd been there, I'd been standing on the sidewalk pissing on the cars that went by. I wouldn't care if it caught me. That I would go to jail for. Of course, probably wouldn't have a chance to. It'd probably be like one of the 1Ps where you gotta pee really bad, but you can't. You know what I mean? So side like. I mean, it's literally no different than Germans throwing up the old Hail Hitler as SS soldiers of Gestapo were being paraded by that had been killed in battle or killed going to put their foot down on some Jews' necks. No different. Law enforcement's been responsible for every atrocity committed to societies throughout all of history by their governments. It's all happening at the hands of law enforcement. And in this country, they played a trick game. Started out as peace officers. Sheriffs had no arresting powers at all. Then they start this peace officer game. Just here to keep the peace. Like, get in between you and your neighbor. Like, whoa, 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 like a moderator. And that became police officers. And now they still have that peace officer training. And somehow they get that badge and gun, and now it's law enforcement. Nothing else matters but enforcing the law. Ask any cop. And what they say, in their oaths that they took, the Constitution is always mentioned first. The state Constitution and the federal Constitution always mentioned first before the state law within that, bullshit shit they say. But you ask what they took an oath to do, they'll say, enforce state law. Enforce the laws of the state. I sent Kiddo Boy 32 today. And I said, you know why we lost? There's two reasons why we lost, mainly. Number one, that was put up for debate. There's a few reasons. One, the normies made it debatable when it's not debatable. Rights are not debatable. You wouldn't say that a guy who caught a felony no longer has the right to an attorney because he caught a felony. People would lose their fucking minds. Would lose their shit. Actually, they probably wouldn't. At this point, they probably wouldn't. He no longer has the right to a jury trial. He caught a felony. He's a felon. No more lawyers, no more jury trial for him. He doesn't have the right to not incriminate himself. He doesn't have the right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment because he's a felon. It sounds stupid because it is stupid. Just like the government says, well, now we're going to create a law saying if you've caught a felony, you can't have a firearm. It makes it even dumber when it's non-violent, the crimes against the state. The felony you committed was against the state. For instance, a cop applies threats of force and violence, or it's not applied, it's definitely there. It hits their lights, which means that you're going to pull over, or I'm going to call all my friends, and we're going to die if it takes doing that, and kill you in the process to make you pull over. Because you got a license plate light out, son. And you ask them about that, and if they realize that, they have no clue. They don't understand that it's a threat. The whole job, they're not just bad because of all that shit, but let's start at the beginning. Nothing they do is without violence, number one. Number two, every penny they are paid, every cent from second one has been extorted from somebody who didn't want to pay it. Now, if people want to pay it and you guys want to have your own little system over here where, You know, Billy Bob, who also wants to be involved in that system, wants to pay too. More power to you. Go ahead, do your thing. I don't want no part of it. I'm over here. I want no part of your shit. I want no service you offer. Keep all your shit. All of it. And here's the funniest part about it. They charge you for all these things. Go ahead. No, I don't want to say that. Go ahead and call the ambulance. Call the EMS. Number one, the first people that are going to show up are the cops. I don't care what's wrong with you. They are not going to fucking touch you. Even though they've had medical training to save their buddies, you know, if one of their buddies gets shot, they're on it. They're cutting shirts off, taking vests off, fucking plugging wounds, chest seals, whatever it may take. But if it's you, the normie, they'll let you sit there and die. Even if they can save your life. They'll let you sit there. Can't touch you, gotta wait on the ambulance to get here. But go ahead and call an ambulance and get an ambulance ride that you already paid for. You're already being extorted for that, so it exists. You know how much they charge you for that ride, one way to the hospital? I got a wreck in Newtown, Ohio. So GPS is on your GPS to University of Cincinnati Hospital. Wasn't it like $600? It was like $600, $650. It's like 8 miles. When we lived in Highland County, that was like $475 when the dog bit me. That was like $475. That's when I was a normie too, though. When I believe in shit like that. Now it don't matter what happens. I can get you there faster than they can get here, and whatever. And you know you're being extorted when you don't even know you're being extorted. Let's just say you pay cash. For instance, I'm getting ready to pick up a prescription right now that I have to pay cash for. That prescription is at a higher cost because of government. It's not a free market. Why? It's restricted by government. Not only that, but you have these hospitals that are forced to, you know, if I told you that as an auto mechanic, I was forced to work on people who couldn't afford for me to work on their cars, you'd be like, that's fucking insane. Working on people's houses. Yeah, I just had to do the work. I had to put up all the money for all the materials. I had to do the work. So how do you get paid? Well, I kick the can down the road and fuck the next person that can pay. So you see that in your medical costs, insurance costs. Just like with these EVs. Oh man, I'm going way off track here. I'm going to anyway. These EVs. Let's say you're driving down the road and it's after winter, potholes everywhere. Boom, you hit a pothole. The bottom of the EV, which the whole bottom floor is the battery, hits the ground. You take it to a dealership. The Ioniq, is that what it's called? A Hyundai Ioniq. $61,000 to replace that battery in that car. It costs more to replace the battery than the fucking car costs new. Why? Because there are no replacement batteries in the country. You have to get it from Korea or whatever. You have to have it shipped. Then the labor to do it. The technology is not at the hands of the technician to be able to repair the batteries. So you now have all these EVs with these battery power problems. Catching on fire while they're charging. Fucking melting down. Car garages got 1,500 cars in them. You know who pays for that? You. Your insurance premium. If I was to drive through this parking lot and start smacking shit, hitting cars, your insurance premium would go up because of that. Because it's a socialist system. It's not based on you. It's not, you're going to pay this money, and this money is going to go to an account. And then, oh, look. Hey, look who's here. Thanks. Take note. Middle note. What time is it? What day is it? let you see what I was talking about. Private information. Oh, you need money, don't you? Hold on, let me pull up here. Will you give me a Mountain Dew on your way out? Darling. There's a Pepsi better. Which one's better for me? I mean, I know they're not good for me. It's not what I asked. It's not what I asked. Asked this is. Oh, money? What should we do now? Yeah, dollar bills. Oh, here, take this. I guess this would be best for today, anyway. But for some reason, if that don't work, like you won't get it back. What?
What do you mean?
Here, they won't take that. Use that. For some reason, they won't take that.
Use that first.
Yeah, just because they got your name on it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But you want a drink?
Yeah.
That's it?
And these steps, huh? You're getting old. Pretty soon you won't be able to ride in the big truck.
Oh, should I wait to get something to eat?
Yeah, we'll get all the way back. But anyway, you know, we've been surrounded by these socialist systems, and that's what they are. You know, fags like Gray Note, Gay Note, fuckhead, whatever his name is. Could be a real dickhead, put his full name and shit out there. I don't do things like that, though, 'cause I tend to like to take care of things myself. You know, like revenge is served best. What's the old saying? Revenge is a platter that's best served cold. Yeah. But anyway, I know I got way off there, but I took an oath is bullshit. The next time somebody says that to you, tell them, say, okay, start citing it from Ward 1. Cite the Constitution. And if they can't do it, then tell them that they're full of shit. They took an oath to the state, and they're a thug, and that's fucking it. They're worse than a thug. They're a criminal. And they're the worst kind of criminal. They're a criminal who justifies their actions. No different than somebody that robs grandma because they need to get fucking high. And the sick part about it is they benefit in the end, but how much money do you think they take in for the state for the $50, $60, $80, $180,000 a year they make? I know that sounds far-fetched. Cincinnati cops make around $109,000 a year. Boston cops start out at $180,000 a year. $180,000 a year for sitting around eating fucking donuts. When people like me bust our dick from daylight to fucking dark, 5, 6, 7 days out of the week, and are scraping by. Bullshit. Anyway, have a good day. Stay safe. Stay away from cops. You're much more likely to live longer. The less you're around them. The more you're around them, more likely you are to die. They are dangerous in every way, especially when they got a gun out. They got a gun out. Your best thing is to run and zigzag. Or, really the best thing is something else. Can't say that on here. Probably get my door kicked in, though. But anyway, have a good day. Stay safe. Peace.